I'm trying a new setting with my camera, and it feels like everything's a little bit darker, even though I have the exact same lights on me. It feels like I'm talking to you guys in the evening, no? Hola gentes, me llamo Wahima, pero llámame Wa. Melanated! Bienvenido a otro episodio de Morning Tea. That's all I got. Where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is chai stash premium tea, no ice. It's kind of warm, you know, lukewarm tea. Let's start with some pop culture tea. Here's the tea. We are very light with pop culture for this week. The only thing that happened that I can think of is Beyonce's birthday, and Michelle Obama, Tina Knowles, and a couple of other baddies got together and a photographer recreated the iconic look from her Formations video, the one with the hat and the Erykah Badu braids and like all the jewelry where she's like, and she does the middle finger. And I thought that was really cute. I didn't realize that all those people were that in love with Beyonce. I guess I just don't realize how much people really, really love Beyonce. Like, I like her and I respect her. I respect her hustle. I respect everything that she does, but I don't stand like that. And that's okay. Next, we're going to talk about, and this is maybe something silly that you guys don't care about, but Princess Diana's grandson, Prince George, started his first day of school. Oh, he's so cute, little prince. So Kate and William's firstborn is in school now. That's so cute. Princess Diana, I remember when she died, like, I was really sad when she died, and I'm an American. I didn't know anything about her, but I was still really sad because I was like, oh, she was in the news all the time, you know? All right, and that's all I had for pop culture. I don't know what I missed, but I must have missed something because I know that's not all that happened this week, girl. Okay, so let's move on to some political tea. Here's the tea. Fox News reports that Omarosa is on the no-fly list as per John Kelly. Apparently, the White House aide has found herself in way too many meetings that she shouldn't be in, that she should not be privy to. And because the White House has a lot of leaks, John Kelly is like, no, she can't be in any meetings. So she's on a no-fly list. And so for the foreseeable future, she's not going to be invited to any closed-door meetings. Boop, there she goes. She can just continue to be a talking head on Fox News because they are like, you don't need to be in DC, okay? Bye-bye. Also, this happened 2 weeks ago and I didn't report on it because there was something else happening that the video was going to be too long, but President Trump pardoned Joe Arpaio. I'm not saying his last name right, but Joe Arpaio is a sheriff, I believe in Arizona, who was being tried for breaking laws, like racial profiling, having his people racial profile any brown person, any person of Hispanic descent, and pulling them over if they were in cars or asking them questions, just straight up racial profiling so that they can hand them over to Border Patrol if necessary. And so these practices are, you know, a breach of our amendments, a breach of law, a breach of our rights as humans in this country. And so he was being tried for that. And Trump, out of nowhere, just swooped in and pardoned him, even though, like, no verdict had even been given. So he was like making a large declaration to the entire country that's like, look, I can come in and tell them that he's going to be pardoned regardless of what the outcome is. And it's just so disruptive. Now that guy has that backing and all of the base is really excited that Trump is supporting somebody who's really, really cracking down on the immigration problem. What I want to know in places like Texas and Arizona and New Mexico that like really hate immigrants, like I want to know who you think is going to do shit. Let's move on to some domestic tea. Here's the tea. It's really too hot to be drinking hot tea. Like these lights, it's really intense. I should go put some ice in it. I might go put some ice in it because I am burning as fire. Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't. Like, I know you were like, oh, Wahima, that like glistening glow you have from the sweat is so beautiful. Okay, DACA. So I'm going to explain DACA to you the best way I know. I've gone over with my brother and he says that I've got it correct. So there's two things hand in hand. The Dreamers Act. Okay, so the Dreamers Act has been in play for 16 years. Nancy Pelosi and I believe Chuck Schumer have been trying to get this act put into law for 16 years. It came close in 2010. It passed in the House, but when it got to the Senate, it lost it by 5 votes. Basically what the Dreamers Act is to allow citizenship to those children who were brought here as youngsters. I mean, they were below the age of 16 when they were brought to the United States, and therefore they don't have any documentations, right? They don't have any documents. So then when President Obama was in office in 2012, he decided to do DACA, which is in tandem kind of with the Dreamers Act. DACA was an executive order that he signed into and kept renewing that stated that if from those 1.1 Dreamers, because there's about 1.1 million people who were brought here as children, if they signed up for DACA, then they would be allowed to get a work permit, and they would be allowed to get a driver's license, and they would be allowed to join the military, right? And it's something that you have to renew every 2 years. So about 78% of the undocumented children who were brought here under the age of 16, they signed up for DACA, right? So that was in 2012. Many people were scared to do it, and I understand why you wouldn't, because now you're registered as an illegal immigrant in this country, but you were allowed to work, right? They were able to go to university. I mean, everything opened up for them with DACA. Now, what they're saying is that Trump wants to phase out DACA. That's crazy, because I hear conflicting stories on if Trump wanted to phase it out or not. NPR says that he is phasing it out, and National Review, which sounds like a conservative website, but I went to there to see what their opinion was, and they're saying that he's not planning on doing it. And the kick is, I'll tell you why they're saying that he's planning on not doing it. But anyway, so what's happening is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer got with President Trump, and they devised a plan in order to make sure that the Dreamers Act gets through, because he's given them 6 months to get it through, right? Because President Trump is saying that after the 6 months, he's going to pull out DACA, and then the people, because they're not kids anymore, the people aren't going to be able to renew in 2 years, and then what are they going to do after that? And then they're on register as filed, so are they going to all just be deported? You know what I'm saying? So that's a very, very hefty thing put on their head. Like, they signed up for this program, and there's now saying that it's going to be taken away, but now they're all on paper, so they will be deported. So they have to go underground if they don't want to be deported, right? What Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, with the support of Trump, is trying to do is tack on the Dreamers Act to a bill that is going to give Hurricane Irma victims more aid. So there's this bill that is going to allow the state of Florida to get more money from Hurricane Irma relief. But in order for Florida to get that money, the Senate and the House have to pass the entire bill, including the Dreamers Act that is being lumped into it. Now, this is a cause of controversy, because Trump is like, look, you guys, Chuck and Nancy, need to get this through. You guys need to do what you need to do to talk to everybody in Congress, and you need to get this through. You know, he's like, get it through. I support you if you get it through. Now, if the House or the Senate don't want to take Dreamers Act along with it, it's going to cause a delay with the victims or Florida getting money, or any of the states getting money from Hurricane Irma relief. So it's like up in the air. You think that the Republicans are going to be petty enough to not give them the aid in order to stop the Dreamers Act from going through? Who knows? But I think it would be really stupid and really petty if this whole thing did not pass the Senate. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because there's conflicting reports on what Trump is going to do. The children aren't, I keep saying they're children, they're not children, they're adults now. This thing has been in play for 16 years, so they could, the oldest of them could be 32, you know what I'm saying? Now the people who are in the military, who are in universities and are a part of DACA are worried. They're like, so is everything going to go to shit in 6 months? Like, what is the outcome? Like, or is Trump gonna secretly, like the National Review says, is Trump just gonna like slyly continue to sign DACA and not do anything with it and continue to just have it be an executive order but not talk about it? Because if you remember, Trump talked about repealing DACA and pulling DACA away all throughout his candidacy. But because his constituents don't really watch anything but Fox News, and Fox News is very much on Trump's side, Fox News is not going to report whether or not DACA is being pulled away, whether or not Trump is actually going to pull away on DACA, because they're in his corner. They're not going to say anything that makes him look bad. So is Trump on the low going to continue to sign DACA so these people can continue to renew every 2 years and live a normal life until Dreamers Act is actually passed? Or is he going to just walk away from it? We don't know. And I think there needs to definitely be some, we need to know, but I don't think he can tell us, because if he's planning on doing on the low, he won't be able to get away with it if he talks about it. So we'll see, because his constituents will be mad, because, you know, they want everyone to leave, because that's the reason why they don't have jobs. All right, so I hope I explained that enough for you guys. There is a lot of information down below. I think I have 3 different sources where you can all look this information up and decide on your own. I really would hope that Trump would do the right thing and keep it on the low and keep DACA going in case Congress doesn't get it together and pull through and push this bill through, because it needs to be pushed through. You know what I'm saying? Like, are all these people going to get kicked out of universities and kicked out of the military? That's so silly. And it's 800,000 of them. It's like immigrants from all over the place. Let's talk about Equifax. So Equifax and TransUnion, and then one other is one of the giant giant like credit bureaus of this country. They know every single thing we've ever done in our entire lives, all of our credit cards, all of our driver's license, everything. They have been hacked, girl. They have been hacked, and they have lost, I think, 143 million Americans' information. Like, I could definitely have my information be out there. There's a website that you can check to see if your account was affected. I don't even want to check it because I'm just like freaked out. Like, I don't want to know. Like, what if it turns out that I am one of those 143 people? I would die. Like, I would be like, so, I can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? It's like one step at a time in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta deal with my fibroids. I gotta deal with my antidepressants. Like, I gotta deal with all this other stuff I can't be worrying about. My credit, girl, can't right now, not right now. You can go on and have it linked down below. You can go on and check that out and see, you know, if your name is on that or not. But like, the problem is that now they're saying, okay, if you sign up with us, if you check and see if you're one of the 143 people, I'm one of the 43 million people, and you sign up with us, we'll monitor your account for free to make sure that nothing fraudulent is coming out in your name. But it only lasts a year. Those hackers could keep your information forever, you know what I'm saying? And as soon as it's a year and one day, they can sell it to the highest bidder on the black market. Like, it's so freaking crazy. It's so crazy. And then like, of that, 290,000 people, credit card information is out there too. And you will be contacted directly by Equifax if your credit card information is the one that was stolen. But like, damn, this hack is intense. Like, like, I don't trust anything, even though we have to trust everything. Like, how can you stay off the grid? You know what I'm saying? How do you stay off the grid? Guys, check it out. Keep yourself safe. Check your credit often. Make sure nothing is pulled out in your name. Don't be like me and be scared. Ooh, let's go to some international tea.
Here's the tea.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way now because there has been fire, earthquake, and brimstone happening all over this world, girl. Okay, so Hurricane Irma wiped out the island of St. Martin. It really affected the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands because, you know, the U.S. owns some Virgin Islands and the British own some Virgin Islands because it attacked one coast of Cuba and now it's up into Florida. It's the map that I saw is like it's going to go up on the west side of Florida, like Tampa and St. Petersburg or St. Peters or something like that. And then it's going to kind of go up into like Kentucky, Tennessee, and then come down back. Now, not to say it's going to be the same type. It's like obviously not a hurricane once it gets to Tennessee, but winds and rain and all this stuff. And then it's going to come back down and homes are devastated, you guys. People are like hiding in shelters. Like, my dad talks about being in a hurricane when he was young, and my dad's from Belize, and how like he was like, hurricanes, like, you know, that's what happens. Like, he's like kind of normal about it, but like the island of St. Martin is gone. Like 95% damage, you know? There was a port that I saw where all of the boats were like pushed up against the shoreline. Like every single boat in the marina was like in one area. And I was like, how do they get all in boats there? It's like gonna take a long time. It's like the people whose boats are at the end are gonna have to move out, and then like, do they work anymore? Like, oh my God, it's devastating. It's devastating, you guys. And they're saying Jose, it's on its way to hit Mexico. Speaking of Mexico, in like the southern part of Mexico of like Tabasco and Oaxaca and Chiapas, those states of Mexico, there was an 8.1 earthquake there, and it affected, I think, 600 miles radius. I'm not sure, but it definitely affected the side of Guatemala that's up against Mexico. So like, people have been feeling tremors and aftershocks, and they felt the earthquake like way out. Maybe it wasn't 600, maybe it was just 60 kilometers. I don't actually know. I really, really hope the best for all these people for dealing with Irma, who's going to deal with Jose, who have to deal with the earthquake. I mean, it's just devastating. All of this, like the weather is like insane. And there's like fires in California. I mean, to be honest, there's always fires in California, but like there was a fire like last week and I went to work and people were like coughing and hacking because I was pretty close to it. They were like, if you feel lightheaded, go home. And I was like, I feel lightheaded. You know, positive vibes out there for everyone. And we'll get through it, but like the devastation and the trauma that comes along with hurricanes. And so something interesting is in Japan, there is a restaurant called Robot Restaurant where it's like a full-on show. It's almost like medieval times where like it's dinner and a show, but the show is like bright lights. It's almost like you're inside of a casino, you know, just all those bright lights. The girls are like in sequins bikinis fighting monsters. There's music. They're playing the drums, you know, like the big drums where like boom, boom, boom. They're doing all that. It looks like it's super fun. It's been around for 3 years and it's really become like a huge attraction in Tokyo. So if you're traveling to Tokyo, check out the Robot Restaurant. Next, the Pope visited Colombia, and as he was getting out of his Pope mobile, he banged his face. But he's okay now. I just talked about the Pope because I feel like he's a pretty cool dude. Like, I don't ever think about popes because I've never been Catholic, but like, this Pope seems pretty cool. So I hope he's doing well. Is he in Colombia? I think it was in Colombia. But anyway, where he was there to bring peace, you know, positivity, and he hurt himself. So I hope he's okay. Oh, in Egypt, I'm so excited because, you know, Nefertiti's my queen, you know what I'm saying? In Egypt, they just found a 3,500 old tomb, like a sarcophagus, like with a sarcophagus in it and like a family. And the people who could read the hieroglyphics like said that the woman of the house, her name is Amenhotep. And I was like, no, it was Amenhotep. I was like, Hotep. But anyways, weird. Her name was Amenhotep, and she had her daughter next to her. And little known fact, the word for daughter in the old Egyptian language was the precious. Isn't that cute? They called their daughter the Precious. Not to be confused with the Precious. But anyways, I thought that was cool. I'm really like, I love when they find old bones and stuff. For a second there, I thought I wanted to be an anthropologist, you know, and exhume tombs and stuff. It's too much reading. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is the troll farm. Okay, Russia has like companies that are dedicated to being trolls. Like all they do on the internet is hack and make fake Twitter accounts, make fake Facebook accounts, and they just like they influence elections because of it. They influence a lot of stuff that happens around the world. In Europe because of it. Like they're able to go in and like sway public opinion because their fake Twitter accounts are like all bot accounts, and those accounts are just putting out false information. And it's like if one bot puts it out, then it retweets it. And so it's just all these fake accounts retweeting things, and then real people get to them and it kind of sways opinion and sways the way things happen. And that's what people are thinking happened to this election, known that they're doing this now and they're trying to stop them. So anytime one like troll farm shuts down, another one just pops up. Like they always have a contingency plan. And because they're hackers, they low-key know when things are going to happen to them. So that's really scary. Between Equifax and the hackers and all this stuff, this world is so unpredictable. It's so much happening. And it's like, oh my God. Okay, you guys, that's it for this episode of Morning Tea. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you want to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please do so. Thank you so much to my Patreon patrons for the last 2 months. You guys have really helped. Thank you very, very much. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Okay, bye.